Hey guys, it's DPS Xbox Gamer here. I'm back. It's been roughly about, I'll say, a little over a year since I did my last video. Feels so great to be back, I'm not even gonna lie. It's been a while. It's just had a lot that was going on in my life, and within the past year or so. Fortunately, I was able to get a lot of that stuff taken care of. Just been very busy. Life's gotten in the way, work, all that stuff. But again, it just feels so good to be back. So yeah, just a little introduction. But yeah, the video that I want to do today is kind of just talking about a lot of the, I gotta describe it, the handhelds that I've been using, mostly, especially fairly recently for the past couple of months or so. I bought quite a few of them. I have way more than these. Like, I even have some like retro handhelds and things like that, but I'm not going to include those in this video in particular. That's going to be like another video. But these are just mainly the, basically just the major handhelds I've just been using over the past couple of months. Actually, I say past couple of weeks. But yeah, let's get started. So this one, oh, and by the way, they all have like these crazy like industrial case, not industrial, but these nice cases and everything. So if you hear me unzipping them and taking them out, that's why. So I'm going to get started with this one. This one is actually the one that I'm pretty sure everyone has, and that is the Nintendo Switch. So I have the Nintendo Switch with the Nitro deck. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I absolutely love the Nitro deck. It was such a great add-on for me to get for the Switch. The only thing is that this has kind of encouraged me to go and get the Switch OLED. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. The only reason why I haven't gotten a Switch OLED is because normally my Switch stays docked. Never really take it out. It stays docked. It just sits there. I'll probably take it out every so often, be like, oh, this is cool, to look at it handheld and put it right back in the dock. I also do have a Switch Lite, but that's kind of like the one that mainly comes with me if I want to play like the Switch on, on the go. Other than that, the main Switch, which is this one, stays docked, and this is the day one Switch that I got when it, when it originally came out. But when I was looking at reviews of the Nitro deck, it got me interested to kind of try it out. So when I put my Switch in here, I have loved every minute of it. It just feels more comfortable. It's sturdy, that grip to it. Like, I don't feel like it's uncomfortable, no hand fatigue and things like that. But because of that, it's making me more interested in getting the Switch OLED just to see the nice color, the nice screen and things like that. But until then, I'm just going to be sticking with my regular Switch in the Nitro deck. But this has encouraged me to use the Switch more often in handheld mode. But yeah, Nintendo Switch with the Nitro deck. And I would recommend it if you do have a Switch or a Switch OLED, get the Nitro deck. It's very comfortable and it feels very nice, especially with the features that it offers. Next one here is more of a Android handheld, one of those retro style handhelds, but you can do a lot more with it because of the price point. And this one is definitely more of my favorite ones, and it is my AYN Odin Pro. The reason why I love this handheld, because of it being such a high-powered Android handheld, you can dual boot Windows on it. So you could have a borderline Windows PC and an Android, based handheld. So this is good, especially with a lot of like retro games, a lot of the Android-based games, like the streaming services on it. And then with the Windows, you can play like some lightweight Steam games on it. I've played Celeste on it, works great. Undertale works fine. What else have I tried on this? I don't know, I can't really think of much, but I definitely have tried Celeste on it and Undertale, and they both worked fine. But yeah, this is definitely like a very good handheld, especially if you want to get into like retro gaming, but you don't want to spend like hundreds of dollars into like one of those portable gaming PCs, but something that's still inexpensive, but still something good enough that you want to use. And I definitely love the form factor, has like the grooves for the grip. Like, it's not bad. has the fan for it. You can overclock the speeds to play higher end games on it. You can play up to GameCube and PS2 on this, and it runs perfectly fine. So I would actually even say Wii. I was playing Smash Bros. Melee Brawl on this, works perfectly fine, no issues, no dips, anything like that. And PS2, even though PS2 isn't really as refined, especially because one of the emulators did get taken down because of the creator of it was just having issues. He just hated the community for whatever reason. He ended up just pulling his emulator down. So a lot of the community has been kind of refining his app with Nather SX2. I haven't really tried Nather SX2. I've been using regular Aether SX2, and even then, it's surprisingly still relatively good on this, but I do want to try Nather SX2 because it has been more refined with the things that you can do with it. But other than that, it runs great. Absolutely love this thing. This is actually the handheld that comes with me on a regular basis. I was on vacation a couple weeks ago, and I was gone for the week. This is the handheld that came with me for the retro games, the lightweight PC games, and even the console streaming. This thing was the one that came with me. But if you're able to get this is the AYN Odin Pro. They did make the AYN Odin 2 and 2 Pro. Those are the ones that are, more powerful than this one, but still, if you want to save some cash and still get something that's still really good, the AYN Odin Pro is still a really good one. Okay. Sorry, I'm just putting these things back in their cases as I'm moving forward. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. So this one here isn't really, I can say, a handheld. But I love the features that this thing has been offered, especially for what I use it for. And I know this specific handheld is a lot more controversy than it really, it basically has a lot more controversy than what it offers. But the community is so divided on it, and it's definitely dedicated to a very, very, very niche market. Fortunately, I'm part of that niche market, and I'll explain why. But just to show it, the PlayStation Portal. I absolutely love this thing, especially because of the way how it feels, with the DualSense controllers attached to basically to a tablet. It's very comfortable, and it just overall just feels great to me. The reason why this has such a niche market to it, because it's basically just a remote play device. That's really it. A lot of people can say, hey, you can just get a backbone or any one of those telescopic controls, attach your phone to it, and remote play that way, and still have other features that you could use with your phone. While that is an argument to have, it personally doesn't fit my case for it. I do have the backbone. I have the PlayStation version of the backbone. But the reason why I always go more towards the Portal than I do the backbone is because this just gives me more of a comfortable experience of remote play from my PlayStation. I don't really take this out with the exception of going to work. My PlayStation is wired, so I don't really have issues when it comes to streaming or remote playing from my PlayStation. But this is mainly used when I'm at home. So we have two TVs, one in the bedroom, one in the living room. The living room is really the main area where my wife and I will spend the most time in. My PlayStation 5 is hooked up here. So this is really where, we'll spend most of our time in, and this is the time where I spend most of my time gaming. There are times where my wife wants to watch the TV and I don't feel like playing my PC. So I use the PlayStation Portal to just stream my PlayStation and play it directly to here with no issues. And it's just a wonderful experience. I don't have really major issues. I don't really have as much lag as as some people do. Maybe because I have gigabit internet. Your mileage may vary. But the Portal has been really great to me. I love it. I even posted pictures on Facebook of me using it at work. No issues, and it just feels great. And a lot of my coworkers too, when we're on break, we've been playing like Helldivers and things like that. So one has his iPad with his DualSense controller. My other coworker has his backbone, and then I have the Portal. So we have 3 different ways that we're all remote playing Helldivers at work, which is kind of cool when you think about it. But yeah, I just love the PlayStation Portal. But like I mentioned, it's very niche and case by case scenarios on who's actually going to use this. For me personally, because of what I use it for, it fits me perfectly. And on top of that, I don't like using the backbone for long, extensive periods of time, especially playing like remote playing games. It just doesn't feel comfortable in my hands. My hands aren't big, but they're not small either. So when I'm playing on my phone, it doesn't feel that comfortable. Playing on this feels great because of the size of the DualSense. It just feels great, and then the haptic feedback, the rumble, all that jazz just feels great. So that was kind of one of the main reasons why I got the Portal, and it's just an overall, me personally, a great accessory, I should say, to have with your PlayStation. I know some people don't want to spend $200 on this thing, and I get it, but I feel like if you actually used it, you might understand the reason why everyone's been clamoring and trying to buy this thing. But yeah, if you have the chance, try it out at least, and then make your opinion from there. But for me personally, it's something great, and I just love to use it. So yeah, PlayStation Portal. But yeah, so PlayStation Portal, definitely a great handheld. Now, going on to two of my favorites, and these are the ones I really bounce back and forth to a lot. This one, I remember when this first got announced, I was so excited for it. Not because of me getting into gaming, like having like PC gaming and things like that. It was just nice to being offered PC gaming on the go. And this is kind of what revolutionized the market when it came to handheld PC gaming. And if you know what I'm talking about just by saying that, you kind of already know what it is. And that is the Steam Deck. I've had this for about a little over 2 years now. Well, 2022, yeah, because they announced it's 2021. And I got it literally exactly a year to the day when they announced it. When everyone was, when Steam was doing their shipments, by their, oh my gosh, I don't know how to describe it. Basically, they had like turns of like, when they were processing orders. So I literally got mine literally a year to the day when they announced it. This is the 256 gig LCD model, and kind of something similar to like the Switch OLED. I don't necessarily need the OLED screen. As nice as the Steam Deck OLED is, I have seen it in person. It's really nice. I personally don't necessarily need it because I don't want to go and spend another $500+ on another Steam Deck when I already have one that works perfectly fine. The only benefit I would say of the Steam Deck OLED besides the screen is that extra battery life. That does come in handy because the one thing I would say about these PC handhelds, that the battery life is horrid. They're terrible. You can get, maybe if you're playing like a high-end game like God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn, you'll get maybe about an hour out of this thing, and after that this thing is just cooked. That's the reason why the Steam Deck OLED for the battery aspect of it would be really nice. But again, I personally don't need it because I already have the LCD model. But besides that, the Steam Deck is just a really, really, really good handheld. Besides getting into the world of PC gaming, the emulation on this is great. I've seen some people use this as like substitutes for their PCs, which I personally didn't do, but I've seen people that did do it. To reach their own. This is more of a companion with my PC more than a dedicated thing. But it's still really nice. I love this thing. The ergonomics of it is just so comfortable to hold. Little on the heavier side, but it doesn't feel like I get hand fatigue from using it. It's just great. I take this thing with me to work too if I'm not taking the PlayStation Portal. This is just like the main handheld that I use. And I literally bounce between this and another handheld that I'm going to show, the last one I have here. But the main thing about the Steam Deck that I love is the accessories that you can use with it. So like one of the things that I have here, I brought some of the accessories with me. Like one of the docks, I have the JSOX dock. This is the first model that came out, where you have like the Ethernet port. You had the I/O in the back, and this was great, especially playing the Steam Deck docked. So sometimes I would have this hooked up to my TV behind me, and I would just play some games on the TV. Granted, I have to like crank up the resolution a little bit because I'm playing this on 800p on the TV. It just looks a little fuzzy. So, that was kind of really, just, really that. But other than that, gaming on the go, I love this thing. 800p really doesn't sound like a lot, but it's really not. But for a small screen like this, you're not really gonna notice much of it. But it's still a really good handheld. Like I mentioned, it's sometimes this even comes out cheaper than buying a Switch. No, yeah, a Switch OLED, because Valve is still selling the LCD models for like super cheap. You can buy a 64 gig model for $350, which is the same price of a Switch OLED. But Steam also sometimes sells the refurbished models of the 64 gig for $280, which is cheaper than the Switch OLED. If I can buy this for $280, it is absolutely worth it, and it's a steal. Granted, with the whole Nintendo takedown of Yuzu and Citra with those emulators, if it wasn't for that, you can play Switch games on this with pretty much no issue, which is kind of crazy to think. So I could buy something that's cheaper than the original hardware and play it with more power. That in itself just mind blows me. But other than that, like the Steam Deck, just a really good handheld. If you already have a Steam Deck, I would say wait for, like, if you want to upgrade, just wait for that Steam Deck 2 if Valve makes one. Pretty sure they are. But if you don't have a Steam Deck and you have the extra money, get the OLED just to benefit that the screen and the extra battery life. But if you already have a Steam Deck, me personally, it doesn't make sense to upgrade, because realistically they both share the same amount of power. They both pretty much do the exact same thing. The only difference is one screen looks prettier than the other. So it doesn't make sense to spend hundreds of dollars to buy another Steam Deck, unless you sell your current one, make some money, and then use the money that you have to buy the OLED. That's kind of really it. But other than that, if you got a Steam Deck, just stick to what you have personally. Okay. And last but not least, this is the handheld that I literally bounce between this and the Steam Deck. I mainly use this, I don't say I use it more than the Steam Deck. I use it on par with the Steam Deck. Sometimes I use this one more, sometimes I use the Steam Deck more. It's really contingent on what games and what day of the week or how I'm feeling. But this one in particular, I would say I put a lot more customization into it, and I've bought more accessories for it, and I don't know, I put more money into it also. But it's just one of my personal favorites. But I'll still lean more towards the Steam Deck when it comes to like how games and optimizations work. But still love this handheld. And I just want to show you, it's the ROG Ally. This has to be one of my, like I mentioned, one of my favorite handhelds, especially when it comes to PC gaming. This one in particular, you can actually use more for an actual dedicated PC than the Steam Deck. But was that something in there? Oh, sorry, I thought something was in my vent. But yeah, because this runs Windows 11, it's cool for what you can use it for. You have more freedom what you can do with this than you do with the Steam Deck, personally. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this technically is better, because this does have more horsepower than the Steam Deck. And you technically have more variety of what you can do with it, but games are optimized better on the Steam Deck. But I still love the ROG Ally. I have quite a few accessories that I use with this. I've done a few upgrades to this as well. I don't know if you noticed, but I have like the grips for the Ally. One of my favorite things that I have, let me flip it around, the transparent back with the with the LED mod in the back. I absolutely love this thing. I also installed a 2 terabyte SSD in this thing. What else did I do? Yeah, the 2 terabyte SSD. That was kind of like the big thing here. Which you could also, by the way, you could upgrade the SSD on the Steam Deck, but I put a SD card in there, a 512, to kind of store a lot of the games. I do have a SD card for this too, with a lot of my retro games on it. The only thing is that I don't put it in the SD card slot because there has been some controversy going on with the ROG Allies with the SD card slots burning out. And when you're paying $700 plus, because this is also the Z1 Extreme model, $700 for a handheld, and your SD cards are basically being fried, that's not a good look. So what I do is that I have a USB Type-C adapter, and I put my SD card in there, and I play it directly from the Type-C port, especially when I play a lot of my retro games. But the ROG Ally is just an overall more versatile for the things that I use it for. And with the power that it has, it's equivalent to maybe, I would say, a GTX 1650, maybe a little bit more powerful than that. I currently have 2 PC builds. This one technically is the 0.5. I have basically 3 major PCs that I use. But like I said, this is kind of like the 0.5, so it's really 2.5. So my main build has an RTX 4070. My second build is one that I really use mostly for like everyday tasks, but it can do gaming. When I have friends come over, we really use it for like LAN parties and things like that. And it has my GTX 1650, and then my ROG Ally, which I'm gonna show some of the accessories that I have for it that makes this another great build. To show you why. Hold on, let me just actually show some of the accessories really quick. So one being this right here. This is the charging dock. So you can literally plug this up, plug your Steam Deck. Wow. Actually, I think you can use the Steam Deck actually with this. But for the ROG Ally, you can plug this up to a TV, plug like any peripherals in it, and then you're basically just using your ROG Ally on like a TV or a monitor. This was like $65. Me personally, it's worth it, but I didn't buy this from ROG's website. I bought it from Best Buy, and it was on clearance for like $45. It's the only reason why I got it. But it's a nice way to use a native docking experience if you didn't want to buy like those third-party docks and things like that. But I mainly use it for the charger. But this right here is the reason why I was mentioning why this will be good as like a PC replacement, and that is the XG Mobile. This is the RTX 3080 Ti model. I got a really good deal on this. I originally was going to buy the 4090 model, and that was $2,000. And so I told my wife, I was talking to her about it, like, hey, how would you feel like if I spent, $2,000 on, some PC parts, things like that. And she was like, well, it's your money. You do what you want as long as bills are taken care of. Completely understood. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, having an RTX 4090, well, a mobile 4090, let me kind of clarify on that. It's kind of overkill for a handheld like this for the ROG Ally. But even in general, it's for the things that I really play or things I really use, it's overkill for me too for my day-to-day basis. So I was getting the 3080 Ti version, bought it on eBay, got a really good deal on it. It was on a bid and ended up somehow winning the bid. I only paid $875 for it plus shipping. So the shipping was like an extra $25. So just about $900. I got the 3080 Ti, and I absolutely love this thing. The amount of power that you can add to the ROG Ally is absolutely great, and you really can use this to replace your full-on PC. This is kind of one of the main reasons why I got it, because there was going to be a point in time where I was like, I kind of want to get away from my full-on desktop PCs. But the only reason why I have it is because I just love the fun of building PCs and customizing it the way that you want to. Can't really do that with a mobile eGPU and a handheld. Because when you build your PC, you're basically kind of expressing yourself and what you want in it. So that's kind of the only reason why I haven't really gotten rid of my desktop. But this is like a nice inclusion with it. So this is the reason why I said that I have 3 builds technically, and this is kind of part of that 3rd build. So yeah, so it's one of the nice accessories to have. It's just a very, very, very expensive. Our Asus doesn't even sell this brand new anymore. Well, they sell the 4090 one, but that's $2,000, and I don't know if anyone wants to pump $2,000 just for an eGPU. At that point, if you have $2,000, you might as well just build a PC. That's just me personally. But it's just nice to have, especially if you want to take this on the go, but you still want to have some nice horsepower. You'll hook this up to like a hotel TV, things like that, and you'll get some nice power, some nice performance out of this thing, which is kind of one of the reasons why I got it. But again, even for what I've paid for, some people may not want to pay this because this is more than the Ally itself just to use it for an eGPU. I do know there's some people that have the Asus ROG Flow laptops where you can use this as well. So if you do have like one of those laptops, then maybe this would also come in handy. But if not, you have the ROG Ally, but you want to have that extra horsepower, this is kind of a nice buy, in my personal opinion. They do have an AMD model. I think it's the RX 6600 or 6800. I can't remember which one it is in particular, but it does, for the AMD side, has some nice power. The only thing is that I have seen some people with issues, but I haven't really seen a more recent video, but apparently these things do have issues when it comes to like the drivers. So sometimes the Ally doesn't really work well with it. I personally haven't had any issues with it. And one of my good friends, he has the 4090 model, and he hasn't really had any issues with his either. So they definitely, more than likely, Asus has updated and patched some of the issues that the XG Mobile was giving with compatibility with the Ally. But I do know there have been issues with people having some compatibility problems with the XG Mobile and their Ally. But definitely love this thing, and like I said, if you have the money, it's definitely worth it. And just the last accessory that I like using, it's called the deck top. So basically you just slap your ROG Ally or your Steam Deck right in here, and you basically make it into like a laptop-esque, like accessory. Let me just show you how it looks with me. So this will be like the general idea that you will get with it. So you get, your whole laptop look of it. I like the red keyboard. Well, that's what I use for the coloring. And you can use it like a regular laptop. So if you're doing like any schoolwork, things like that, anything that requires a laptop, you basically have one here. It looks a little funky, but I personally like it. It's cool, and I take this on the go with me with my Ally. Especially if I don't, like I mentioned, don't want to use all that extra horsepower from the XG Mobile, but I still want to have like a laptop-esque experience. I like using this. But yeah, it's definitely worth it. But yeah, those are a lot of the modern handhelds that I've used, especially recently. I do want to talk about a lot more of the retro handhelds that I've used. That, like I mentioned, is going to be in another video. But yeah, guys, it just feels so great to be back. I do appreciate you guys. Yeah, hopefully it'll be a nice way to kind of, interact with my community again. It's been such a long time. It's been over a year. And the ones that have stuck with me throughout this time, I appreciate you guys. If there's anyone new joining aboard, welcome aboard. And hopefully this isn't going to stop me from making more videos. I know I say that a lot, but a lot has been going on within the past year, a couple months or so. But yeah, hopefully see you guys again. This is the PS Xbox Gamer signing out, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.